Hello and welcome to a quick tutorial of the wonderful Majestic -8 Q400. I'm going to do a very basic, very quick tutorial of what you have to do in order to get this plane up and running and to do a short regional flight. So don't expect anything fancy. I'm just going to do a really quick and basic tutorial. So first of all, it is important that we all start from the same point. So what I did is I loaded up FSX with the standard Cessna, and I loaded it up at Vienna International Airport, one of the E gates, and yeah, you get pretty much this plane, and if and yeah, of course I loaded up the Majestic Dash, and you get the plane like this, engines off. And when you go into the cockpit, you have some things running, some things not. And what we do is at the DC control, we'll switch everything off here. And this will give you pretty much a cold and dark cockpit. So I'm not going to use the load manager. I'm just going to go with a default load and 100% fuel. That is just for reasons of simplicity. So what we're going to do first is we'll switch on at all the battery switches at the DC control. That's the first thing. Then we'll switch the AC control off and the packs off, both. The temperature control, we're going to put that on auto. Just crank it up to the middle position, and that will put it on auto. Then we'll switch on the fasten seatbelt sign and the no smoking signs. We're going to presume that the passengers are already on board. And the plane is now performing some self-checks. What we're going to do here is we'll cancel those warnings and hide the yoke. And you have to check. Actually, we're going to do a very short flight from Vienna to Graz. It's just a 35 minutes flight. And what you have to check for yourself is the current altimeter setting. So just go for a METAR weather site, type in LOWW, and then you will have the altimeter setting, which for me at the moment, wait a minute, I have to check that. For me at the moment it's 30.03, so I'm going to put that on the right setting. And spoilers, we'll put that in taxi position, and we'll switch to the co-pilot side and switch anti-skid on, and we'll switch on both flight management systems. Just click on and they will start up. Next, at the throttle quadrant, we're going to put the control lock in, and now comes a very important thing. You have to put the throttle on disconnect or flight idle. I will put it on flight idle for the moment. Next is the propeller RPMs. We will switch to fuel off. And here we're going to accept the system check page on both FMS. And we'll go to the first FMS, and we'll go to the data page and switch on or click on services and request the GPU. So this will give you the ground power unit, the external ground power unit, and it's going to appear just in a minute now. Yeah, there it is. We'll have external power. So here we'll go to the nav page, and at the overhead we're going to switch the external power on and the main bus tie on as well. And at the climatization control we'll put AC control external power on. Next we'll choose the landing flap setting, which will be 15 for me today, but you can choose whatever you want. And next we'll switch on the standby hydraulic pressure and the PTU control. Next is the alignment of both FMS units. Just click on Align here, and you can see that on the navigation or the primary flight display, sorry, you see that the airplane is currently now aligning itself. Next we'll switch on the comm panels, which you easily do here with on, and you wait till the self-test is finished, and we'll switch both to FMS so we can control them from the FMS, which we'll do with the tune page. And just to show you that how this works, we'll go to ATC and set the squawk code to 2000, which is a standard one, as I'm not flying online today. Just enter, and you can see in the comm panel it is accepted, it is on standby. Next we'll switch on the position lights, and next we'll do the important part, that's the FMS programming. So we'll go to the nav page here, and we'll type in from, which is LOWW, Vienna. Just accept this page. This is a check page if you have the right coordinates and everything. And we'll go to Graz, which is LOWG. Enter, accept, and just hit enter. It gives you the direct heading and the distance. Now you can see there's a message here flashing. Just click on message, and it tells you that the navigation is not yet working, GPS is not working. So just click return, and you have accepted that. Next we're going to on the flight plan page, and we'll type in the flight plan here. So we'll go from LOWW, accept, and now the flight route, I looked that up on the internet. There is a page that's called vatroute.net. You can look up the flight route there, so which is a very simple one. It's just the one airway and like with two waypoints. One is a VOR, and I'm just going to put that in so you can use the same route as I do. This one is Umbil, accept. The next one is the VOR GRZ, and then we already have the Graz airport. Perfect. So what you want to do is you will have to go on the menu here and departure. So right now there's wind with 9 knots from a direction of 120 degrees, so I'm choosing runway 11 to depart from Vienna, which is number 1. So I'm putting in number 1 here, enter, and as my first waypoint is Umbil, I'm searching for the fitting departure here, so I'm clicking on next here because it's not on the first page, and you can see Umbi to A. This will be the one that I use, it's number 13, and I'm putting in enter, and I'll return to the flight plan, and it has filled in. Perfect. So next we'll do is the fuel programming. As I have not used any particular loads here, I'm just putting in fantasy numbers, so please excuse that, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I'm going to put in here that we have like 50 passengers, enter. We'll have a cargo of 500 kilograms. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's still on pounds, so I'm sorry, nope, cancel. I'm putting in 1,000 pounds. Gives a 0 fuel weights. I'm going to use 500 pounds of fuel for an alternate, 500 pounds for hold fuel, extra fuel, 500 pounds as well. And then I have to put in the fuel on board. So this one you have to put in right. So just click on this button here, and you can see here at the multifunction display, you can see that you have 5,860 pounds of fuel in each tank. So just put in those numbers here. First tank 5,860 and the second tank as well. Okay. So we'll have a gross weight of 59,000 pounds. What we'll do next is, in order to get the navigation display start from the right point, we're going to hit DTO here, which is direct, and we'll start from LOWW, Vienna, and click in, that's number 1, and just click in enter. And you can see now the navigation display has the right orientation, and it starts from the right point. What you're going to do now is on the FMS2 you put in exfil, you'll exfil the flight plan, and you'll exfil the fuel. So this makes the same entries that you did on FMS1 on the FMS2. And don't forget, you have to fill in the direct from direct 2 as well. Put in Vienna, and it gives you, should give you the same. I haven't switched on the nav display here, but it should be the same. So I still have to check something about the flight plan, but this should be okay. All right. So what we'll do now is the nav source. Wait a minute. We'll switch the nav source to FMS1 on both sides. And we'll go up to the autopilot, which is important, and we'll switch. You can see it here, which one's active, and you'll switch this one to nav source 1 on both sides. I'll have to switch. Wait a minute, I have to switch here for the right display. To go this one, yeah, nav on the co-pilot side, and I'm switching nav source here. FMS1 as well. See it on the right side. So we'll have an initial heading of 110 degrees. This is what we'll put in the autopilot as well. So we're going for an initial heading of 110. Okay. And we'll close the doors. They're already closed. That's okay. And next, we're going to overhead and switch the APU on. So just click on power, and you see there's a small self-test with all the lights flashing for just a millisecond. And when you completed that, just click on start. And you can already switch the generator on, but that isn't working yet. So we still have external power, and just switch on the bleed air from the APU as well. And you can now switch on the recirculation and just switch both packs on auto. What we'll do now is we'll switch the external power from the AC off and switch off the external power. So this gives you the green lights on the APU control, which tells you that it is now working. As we'll soon start the engines, we'll switch on the red anti-collision light, the beacon, and we'll go to the FMS and to the data page and services and cancel the GPU because we don't need it anymore. And you see, it will turn away, or it will go away in a second. Just wait. So yeah, there it is. Now at the overhead, we'll switch on the pitot statics. Nope, they're already. This one on standby, and the other ones on. The windshield heat, you will put that on normal. And now you have to switch off the recirculation again. And packs for the engine start both to off. So we'll start with engine number 1, and you're going to switch that on start and feather. Engine ignition 1, you will switch that on normal in the overhead, and you will engine start select 1, and then you'll press engine start. Okay, you can see it's turning now, and we'll need to pay close attention to the engine display now. What we'll wait for is that we'll reach a torque of 3 and a propeller RPM of approximately 210 or 220, and we'll check the fuel flow and of course the EGT temperature. So we'll just wait for that now. You can see, sorry, I was wrong about the RPMs. So you can see fuel flow, we have EGT temperature in green values, and everything's working. So we'll go here to minimum of 850. And we'll repeat the same procedure for engine number 2. We'll go to start and feather. Oh, wait a minute, I should have put that on disconnect maybe. Yeah, just put it on start and feather. I'm sorry for that mistake. And reduce the throttle. And then we'll put the engine ignition of number 2 to normal and select 2. And we'll start the second engine. It's beginning to turn. Just cancel that alert. Okay, now you see the RPMs are right. I was not okay with the throttle, I'm sorry for that. But now you can see 220 RPMs, EGT temperature is in green values, fuel flow, and a torque of 3, and we'll switch to minimum of 850. Okay, so we're pretty much almost ready for taxi, and this is why we'll switch on the taxi nose light, and we'll switch off the bleed air from the APU. The recirculation fan goes to on, bleed 1 and 2 goes to on, and packs both to auto. You can instantly hear that they are working. And now we'll switch off the APU generator, and we'll switch the AC control to generator 1 and generator 2, and the DC control will switch on generator 1 and generator 2. Sometimes you have to restart the AC generator number 1. I don't know why that is, but you see you have an annunciator that AC generator number 1 is not working. So I'll wait a minute, I have to use the view. I'll switch it off, leave it off for just a few seconds, and switch it on again, and you can see the annunciator light goes away. It's okay now. APU power, I switch that off now, and now you have the power coming from the engines. Next, we'll check if nose wheel steering is on. You can check that here. So nose wheel steering will be on, And now we're ready for a taxi and pushback, whatever you need. So just switch to your external view, and the funny thing about the Dash 8 is that you can do a pushback on your own, or you can just start the taxi. And as I have this truck in front of me, I will try to do a pushback. So I'll release the parking brake, and I'm just, you can see, did you see that? I just pushed a little bit of reverse thrust, and it doesn't need much, just be careful with that. I'm now using the nose wheel steering. So these are the ailerons that are connected to the nose wheel now. Perfect. Just using a little bit of brakes. Okay. So we are ready for taxi now. What we'll have to do is you have to set the... I'm just going to switch on the parking brakes now because there are some things still left to do now. So just cancel this one. What you still have to do is you have to set the flaps for takeoff. So I'm going to go for flaps 10. And what you have to do now is there are tables that come with the Dash 8. So you have to check in there what your V speeds are. So just go to your documentation index and to your speed cards. And as I'm having an almost, I have a gross weight of, I think it was, let me check that. Where was that? Of 59,000 pounds. So I'll check that for flaps 10, and I have an outside temperature of 19 degrees, so almost 20 degrees, and this gives me V speeds of, let me see, at that airport altitude 116, 118, or I'll take the upper one, which is 121, 122. So you go here and speed bug select, and V1 is 121. V rotate is 122. I'm sorry, it is 121 as well. And V2 is 122, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to put in the next speeds. I won't do that because I'm wanting to do it as simple as possible, as I said. So we're now pretty much ready for taxi. Just switch on the pilot side window heats, and yeah, we're ready for the taxi to the runway. But this is going to be the part of the next tutorial. This concludes the startup and ready for taxi tutorial, and I'm going to show you the tutorial for the takeoff, the cruise, the descent, the landing in the next episode. Thank you for watching. If you like it, just please leave me a like, and I hope to see you next time.